So, welcome back to day 7 of the challenge. This is the final video of the challenge series. Today we're talking about using the feedback from the horse, using our what, why, how method.
Yeah, to analyze what happens in the exercise and help you make decisions as to, so what am I going to do next? Where do I go from here? Now that I'm writing this exercise, or now that I have written this exercise.
What to do with the information.
What does it all mean?
So, let's get started.
Yeah. Well, welcome to day 7 of our Thinking Rider challenge. Today I want to talk a little bit about using the feedback of the horse to diagnose and to decide on how to proceed from where you are, to decide what to do next. By using our what, why, how method that sort of sums up a little bit what we've been doing in the challenge. Everything kind of leads up to this point. And in the process, observation really plays a really big role. Paying attention to the horse and how he is performing the exercise, how he's responding to your aids. Paying attention to how you're sitting and how you're aiding, because that's where you get the information that you need to make the training decisions. So you can think of writing exercises, giving aids, and observing exactly how it goes as gathering data that you need. So you write an arena pattern, you write a movement, you write a transition, or a combination of those in an exercise, and then you just pay attention. Is the horse doing that transition or movement well, or the exercise? Is he doing it poorly? Is that exercise easy for him? Is it difficult for him? Which part of the exercise is the most difficult one for the horse? You know, when you have exercises that consist of several elements, then the transitions between the elements are usually the places where mistakes happen, and then usually one area, one aspect of the exercise stands out that seems to be the most difficult for the horse, more difficult than the rest of the exercise. Also important is to observe the horse afterwards, when you're going straight on a big circle or whole school afterwards, and you can evaluate, is the horse now better or worse than he was before? So in other words, is he easier to sit? Does he have more impulsion? Is he rounder, more on the bit, more through the back? Does he feel more supple? Is he softer, or is he harder, stiffer, less on the bit? Is he sucking back? Is he running away? That sort of thing. That gives you a lot of insight into how the exercise went, or if it had a positive or negative effect. In some cases, the horses stay the same, but typically they're either better or worse after you've ridden an exercise or applied an aid. Yeah, so the answers to these questions help us decide what we're going to do next, right? So they help us evaluate. For the question then, for example, could be, should I repeat the exercise? Should I abandon it? Maybe it was too difficult, maybe it's too early for it. Or should I modify it so that it fits the horse's current training level and needs a little better? You know, sometimes you ride something that works to a certain extent, but you're not completely happy with the result because you feel like I could get more out of it. I could create a bigger change in the horse if I changed something in the exercise. So you do that. Also, an important question is always, do I need to change my seat and the way I'm guiding the horse through the exercise with my aids? Especially if a mistake happens, you know, you can ask yourself if you caused the mistake with the seat or with the timing of the aids, for example, and the coordination of the aids. Sometimes issues come up as you ride an exercise that have to be addressed first before it makes sense to ride the exercise again. So sometimes exercises show that there are certain gaps in the horse's training or the understanding that need to be filled before it makes sense to ride the exercise again. So these are all questions you can ask yourself when you're evaluating the results, when you're observing or thinking about the details of how the horse performed the exercise or the movement or the transition. And you can use our what, why, how method to analyze basically everything you do, any exercise, any aid you give, any movement you ride. You can always ask questions that help you clarify what went wrong, what went right, where the root of a problem is, and how you can improve training gaps and deficits so that the horse continues to make progress and move up through the levels. So first, in the process, you ask yourself what happened. What exactly happened in the exercise? How did the horse perform the exercise? Like was it good? Was it bad? Which mistakes happened? Where did they happen in the exercise? That's important to take a look at. In which location exactly did they happen? Then more specifically, did the horse lose his alignment maybe? If he got crooked, then was it the shoulders or was it the haunches that left the line of travel? Did they fall in? Did they fall out? Did the horse lose the tempo? In other words, did he speed up or slow down? Did he lose power? Do you feel like the horse is losing impulsion in the exercise? So sometimes it feels like the horse is entering deep mud, and the mud gets deeper with every stride, right? So it's like more and more sluggish as the exercise continues. Or does the horse get hot? Some horses then all of a sudden, become a little bit too energetic, maybe. Then observe if the horse braces with a part of his body against the rider. Then, if so, which part was it? Which parts of the exercise were the hardest? Which ones were the easiest? That's also always interesting to see. Are there elements of the exercise that are really easy for the horse to do and others that are especially difficult? Then compare the left rein and right rein. Was it easier to do the exercise on the left rein or on the right rein? That plays a role. That has to do with crookedness. If you find that one side's easier than the other. Then next big question, the why. Why did the mistake happen? That's a question about the root of the problem. Where did it come from, right? Was it a seat issue? Maybe your alignment wasn't good enough. Maybe the timing of the aids wasn't great. Maybe you're bracing in your body somewhere. So these are just a few possibilities that could create mistakes in an exercise or in a movement. Then it could also be that the horse simply didn't understand what he was supposed to do or how he was supposed to do it. It could be a lack of body awareness in the horse. It could be a lack of balance. Balance, body awareness usually play a big role in a lot of mistakes that happen. Crookedness plays a big role in mistakes that happen. It could have been a lack of coordination. Could be a lack of mobility. That's a common reason for problems, that the horse is simply stiff in certain areas. Certain joints can't move with a full range of motion because the muscles are too stiff that surround these joints. And if you find that there is a stiffness in certain muscle groups, certain joints, then it's important to find out which parts of the body are those that are not moving with the full range of motion. And then finally, the how. How can I help the horse with my seat, my aids, with gymnastic exercises and explanatory exercises to overcome the difficulty? So those tools you also find in that what, why, how method. So you could, of course, always adjust the seat, like rotate your pelvis more or less, or rotate it in the other direction. Look at the timing of the aids, maybe apply the aid at a different moment in the footfall sequence, combine or coordinate the aids a little differently, distribute your weight differently. Then you can think of gymnastic exercises that target a specific area of the body. So if the shoulders are stiff, then ride some shoulder turning exercises and then check afterwards if the horse is better now and if he can do the original exercise better afterwards, which will then tell you whether your diagnosis was correct or incorrect, right? Sometimes you feel like it seems like the horse can't do the exercise because the learning step from the previous one to this one is too steep, or there are things about the exercise you're trying to do that he doesn't understand. Like, which leg am I supposed to use? Where does it go? Where do I have to support my weight so I don't fall over when I do it? And then sometimes you have to stop, interrupt the movement or the exercise, and then ride some other exercises that explain these missing links to the horse, so he gets a better understanding of how this works, how to use his body, and so on. Yeah, so this is a brief outline of the process with which you can use the horse's feedback in anything you do, any movement, any transition, any turn, any exercise. Something always happens in a sense. There's always some feedback of the horse, good or bad, that tells you a little bit where you could help him, where you could direct your attention, or where you could work with the horse to move him along and help him progress. So I hope this was interesting to you and helpful. And so if you're interested in delving deeper into that what, why, how method and the details of then how to explain to the horse how to do things, or how to supple body parts, and how to apply the method with a variety of specific exercises, I invite you to participate in our What, Why, How online course. And in our next video, we will give you some more details about the course. I'll see you soon. Okay, so this was the final video of the challenge. I hope that there was some interesting information.
I hope it was helpful. I hope we really sparked your imagination and creativity as far as using gymnastic exercises to train your horse.
Yeah, and how to evaluate what happens as you're riding the exercise, so that you are in a better position to evaluate where the horse has trouble, where the trouble comes from, and
make a more accurate assessment and know what to do with that assessment.
Yeah, exactly. So you can kind of plan for the future and design your own exercises eventually to train the horse, to correct problems, to explain gaps in his education, etc.
Yeah, and so if you are interested in joining us for the What, Why, How online course, we invite you to please watch the next video. See you there.